All right, with summer in full swing right now, pretty good time right now for a reminder on sun safety and skin cancer prevention.
City of Hope oncologist Dr. Morgana Freeman is here with the latest on everything from dietary myths to the surprising influence of social media on skin health. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here.
Hey, how are you?
Thanks for having me.
I actually want to ask you the first question about the social media.
Yes.
I think it has raised awareness because people talk about being diagnosed at a young age or not really realizing that the mole was something serious. I think it's kind of helped that awareness. Even though some people get like a little bit too nervous, I think it helps.
Yeah, it really has. And actually there was a very interesting study that looked at how social media influenced sunbathing practices. And there was a very strong association between Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube when it came to how people engaged in sun safety and also beauty practices. So now I think the tables have turned and a lot of people are using it for that awareness to say, look, I got diagnosed, here are my sun safety practice habits now. Let's think about beauty in a different way and have that be more about health and prevention than it is about having an unhealthy tan.
Right.
Yeah.
So you say diversity in social media, though, it's also making us a little bit more open-minded?
Absolutely.
Changing beauty standards? Explain.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think with a lot of the self-tapes and selfies that are being put out there, we're looking at other people, we're looking more at ourselves, and we're embracing a more diverse concept of beauty. We see that a lot of models in magazines now are all different shades of skin color. We've even seen models with vitiligo who have white patches missing from their skin, and this is a big part of our beauty embrace of new concepts. So I think this is what allows people to see themselves as beautiful and unique in their own skin, and that's a really important component of skin health.
So let's talk about our kids. So how do we push that onto our children and make sure that they understand what they're doing and why?
There's a lot of really fun ways actually to teach kids about sun safety. So what has been really popular in Australia and now popular in the United States is something called slip, slap, slop. So you want to slip on a shirt, you want to slap on some sunscreen, and then you also want to slap on a hat so that you're going to be fully covered when you're going to go out into the sun and to go play. Another good rule is short shadow, seek shade. So kids oftentimes like to play the shadow game and they're running and they can see their shadow. If the shadow is really short, then the sun is really high in the sky, and that's a good time to go seek shade. Another fun way to teach kids about sun safety habits is there are UV wristbands that actually turn color when the UV index is highest, and that's what teaches us that it's time to put on some more sunscreen. So there's actually a lot of really fun ways that you can teach kids, and it's also important for parents to be a part of that role modeling, and if they see mom and dad putting on sunscreen, then they're going to do that themselves. It starts early.
Yeah, right.
You have a term called wet and sweat. What's that?
Yeah, so wet and sweat means that if you're wet, meaning outside getting sweaty, or if you're in the pool, then it's time to reapply. So the general rule of thumb is you want to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours while you're outside, but you can sweat sunscreen off and you can get it off when you're in the pool. So if you're wet or sweat, then you want to reapply your sunscreen.
And what sunscreen should we be using? Is like 45, 105? Like there's so many different variants.
Yeah, that's a great question, and a lot of people ask about that. They think the higher the better. And actually the American Academy of Dermatology just recommends 30 or higher. Really, there's no difference between 30 and 45 or 100. The margin of UV protection is only a few percentages.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
In Australia, too, you're not allowed, they don't allow them to go above a certain number in Australia.
Yes, that's true.
It's capped at 50 or something.
Yes, and that's really because there's no difference between 50 and 100.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about our diet. There are some things you're saying we can actually eat that will protect us.
Yeah, so a lot of people are kind of surprised about this because we think about the foods that potentially can cause skin cancer, but there are actually some that can help reverse UV damage in the skin. So lycopene, which is found in red fruits and vegetables, especially tomatoes, was actually found in a study that with regular consumption, it reduced people's sunburn by 40%. So lycopene in tomatoes actually can protect our skin. Something else like polyphenols in green tea can help reduce UV damage in sunburned skin. So there were studies that found that regular green tea consumption also cuts skin cancer risk. And finally, omega-3s, which can be found in cold water fish and over-the-counter dietary supplements, also reverse UV damage in skin. So a diet rich in omega-3s can also be cancer preventing.
All really good and healthy foods.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Good information. Thank you.